Ba-boom.
Welcome back, everybody, to Crush Improv plays Dungeons and Dragons. We're on our 7th adventure on the third thing, I guess. I'm not really keeping track, but let's go with that. And this is our first time back after gathering in person. That was super fun, and I enjoyed that a lot. But when last we met, the crew of the Lazy Shebok and our characters had gone to a little island where they had dug up some treasure. And there was some discussion about what they were going to do with it. And Al, do I have a weird black thing behind me? No, I guess that's part of my room.
Oh, no, it's the old Zoom right there.
Wait, hold on. I can... no.
Oh, yeah.
It's just following me. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Before we started, we were actually catching up a bit on what had happened last, and maybe instead of me talking through what happened last, because the result of the big battle that happened on that island with some bullywugs was that the party was able to get into a tomb and retrieve what looked like to be a chest of raw platinum bars. And from there, some stuff happened, which I will invite the party to tell what happened next. Who wants to relay that? Volunteer gets inspiration.
I'm pretty sure. Was I just was Gnorman sleepwalking through the last bit of the adventure? Or?
I think he may have been. Yeah.
I suddenly just I sneeze and it wakes me up, and I just am startled and am not entirely familiar with my surroundings. It's like, oh, okay, everybody's here.
Well, you definitely need to have people tell you what happened last.
What? Hey,
sorry. Oh, I was bit on the ankle by a gopher.
Not in real life, Dan. What happened to Tergar?
Tergar and company left the little tiny island that had a tomb in it where we killed some frogs.
Our group now is Tergar and company.
Tergar and company.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Great show in the 1970s. It came right after Sanford and Sons. Tergar and company. Check it out if you haven't already. We left the little island with the tomb, and we almost had a mutiny on our hands, kind of. They were very upset that we spent any time on that island, let alone a lengthy period of time. We took a whole bunch of bullion with us in Nimrilian's sack of wonder, I think it's called. Sack of sustenance.
So very
bag of things. Bag of holding.
Here, would you like to see it?
Yes.
I have it featured here on my miniature.
You can't just show people. Oh, sorry.
Hang on, I gotta.
This miniature figure that was 3D printed by our very own DM, based on Nimralian. She's got her bag of holding and her spell book and her braided hair and her ivory ring of protection.
I think that's great, by the way, that everyone got these awesome 3D.
Huh? Everyone has one?
Yes, but mine just doesn't. It's not 2D. And I mean, it looks like me. It doesn't look like Tergar, I don't think. That's not how
perfect.
Yours didn't print so well, Dan. So
that's not how I envisioned.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was a great bit, Dan.
That was so good.
Here's Gnorman is hanging out right there, launching his sun fireball thing, quarterstaff, rad hair to do. You know, it's how Gnorman does.
Dan, you have to talk, so you get.
You got to say something to pull focus.
Oh yeah. Oh right, that's right. Because it. Oh, hold on. Let me do this again because I think that worked. This is young. This is a young, spry Tergar. This is hard. Okay, anyway, whatever. It's right here, and he's cool. Okay,
that was awesome.
I'll just be honest. This thing is a lot easier to handle for this kind of thing. Shows up much easier on the camera.
Oh, that was so good.
Oh,
okay, here's Galanda. in all her glory. There she goes. She has her long sword in one hand and her bow. Oh, shoot, what's it called?
Crossbow.
Her crossbow in the other. And she has her blue hair because she's part of the sea. And she has her little flute that she plays when she needs a musical interlude. Thank you, Andrew. I love her so much.
It was my great pleasure.
And here's Jojandron.
Why is everyone else able to easily show that? I can't even see mine.
Dan, you did it like this.
Would it work if I did the Marvel or the Lucasfilm thing?
What was that?
Give the LED screen background. Could I make?
Oh, the volume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll bet it's possible. It's probably a feature baked into Zoom now.
Are you going to put a dramatic background behind Joe Jongeron right now?
Yeah.
Is that what's let's just take 5 minutes.
It's gonna be good though. Everyone's got to wait for it.
Oh,
here's him in the woods.
Oh, nicely done.
Okay, let's keep talking, buddy.
This is Jojandron walking through the woods.
oh, neat. Hey, look at that.
That's
This is
pretty
just
cool.
like, it's like the original Clash of the Titans almost.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Can you put him in a grocery store?
We need an occupation and a location.
Yo.
He's a proctologist in a grocery store.
One time in a million, Doctor.
We should get back.
Anyway,
to the
I already forgot what little exposition just came.
Yeah, let's get back to the recap.
Let's
guys.
just jump in. And
All right.
I'll figure it out.
We left the little island. We're on the ship. We almost had a mutiny. I believe we're going to Poniard or Port Com. Where are we going? DM.
My recollection was you're going to Poniard, and since that's what I prepared for, that's where you're going.
So we're going there. We're going to replenish our stock of stuff on the ship. We also buoyed the spirits by offering more money to our crew if they extend, because we're going to extend our time out at sea by another month, I believe, as we pursue other points on the map. And I believe that is where we left off, except that there was a little boat stranded with someone exhausted, a humanoid type figure exhausted in that boat. And now here we are.
Yes, the crew were also very excited about the prospect of shore leave. That was also another reason to go.
Yes, a party night in Poniard.
And if I may add two things that I remembered.
Go.
One is that I've befriended the crew. They really like me.
They do.
The other thing was we looked out onto the sea in the morning.
Oh yeah.
And it looked wrong somehow. Am I describing that right, Andrew? There's something wrong about the sea.
You are getting there. If somebody wants to tell us what was wrong about it.
Reflective. It was smooth and
yes.
mirrored. Is that right?
Yes, that is exactly it. When the fog lifted one morning and it looked like the sea was somehow glass. It had a mirror-like finish to it, and it was almost hard to look at. And the effect then went away after mere seconds of watching. But it was viewable by all of you and also the crew. And everyone agreed it was strange and they had never seen anything like it. All right, so I have, it's from where you were, it is a mere 35 miles to Poniard, which is a little bit more than the distance the boat can travel in a day. So when pressed with the option of sailing a bit through the night to get to Poniard, the crew jumped at the chance because they would rather not weigh anchor and stay at this island any more than they have to. So it is probably the next morning that those things all happened at once, as you are probably about 10 miles out from the Flotsam Island. You both see this weird mirrorscape on the water, and also maybe we'll just run over that again. It's been a couple of weeks. There's a small boat floating in the water, which is called out by the sailor in the crow's nest. And it is practically on a collision course with the boat, with the lazy shebok. So you run up alongside it, and sure enough, you see that there's one occupant inside, a human who is wearing rags, presumably to shield them from the sun. For a while, it doesn't look like they're alive at all, but when you tie up the boat and bring it on board, it's what they call a launch. It's the size of a large rowboat. Maybe it fits about 6 people. You could raise a sail in it, but usually it's just oared. And the sole occupant, he's in very, very rough shape. He looks like he's been exposed to the sun. He hasn't eaten or drank probably in days. He's basically on death's door. And with some tender administrations, it looks like he would probably recover. But I will ask you.
What does the captain think?
He says, that guy barely made it. It looked like another day out in the water, he'd probably be a goner.
Okay. Because sometimes they just like make people go adrift if they've been bad rather than walking the plank. But if he doesn't really assume that this guy's that, then okay.
Well, technically I'm under charter to you, so it's up to it's kind of your decision, but the law of the sea in these parts is if you see a vessel in need of assistance, you render that assistance and pray that the same kindness is given back to you if God forbids you need the same kindness.
Quite.
So what would you like to do with this fellow?
I don't expect anything bad to happen to us, so I don't think there's a karma thing we need to worry about. I think we're good.
Mm-hmm.
So just toss him back then?
Even still, I think we should bring him aboard.
Well, some of you do have healing spells, and you've been resting for quite a long while, so I don't think it would be too much trouble if Tergar or Jojo, you happen to use one of your spells to heal this young lad? Or old lad? What is he? Was he old?
He's probably, well, it's hard to tell. He's got the ravages of extreme exhaustion, so you would imagine he would look better once he has had some rest, but you would guess he's in his mid-20s.
I will cast Healing Word on him.
So technically he hasn't taken any damage.
Oh.
He has 5 levels of exhaustion, which in game terms is very bad indeed. I'll tell you what that would mean. So when you have exhaustion at level 1, any ability check you want to make is done at disadvantage. When you have it at level 2, there's that and your speed is halved. At level 3, it's those 2 things and you now have disadvantage on attack rolls and saving throws. At 4, your hit point maximum is put in half, so you lose half your hit points. At 5, your speed is reduced to 0, and at level 6, you die. So he's got all of those bad things I just talked about, and he was on the verge of dying before you picked him up.
So how do we alleviate that?
So
I think like a big slap across the face usually wakes people
Could
up,
lesser
right?
restoration work?
The spell that will affect that is called Greater Restoration. So lesser restoration will...
Which I do I have? I do not.
I don't think any of you have it. It's a fairly high level spell.
Yeah.
Okay. Never mind.
Sorry, Kristen, what did you want to say?
I was going to see if stone cunning would help in any way.
We are exactly 5 minutes into the game and you want to use stone cutting? I love it. Unfortunately, There's no stone to speak of on the boat or him or anywhere. So,
Okay.
But keep that in your back pocket because, you never know when stone cutting comes in handy.
Okay, foreshadow.
But what I will ask, Christine, is if you could give me a good old perception roll.
Why Christine?
She's got the best perception of the gang.
Yeah, well, maybe.
But also, maybe I see something different.
Maybe she does.
Does he have like a winning lottery ticket in his hand?
In his back pocket.
It's
Nice.
a 21.
21. You are maybe pouring your eye over the boat the launch that they brought in. Maybe you could help with this guy, but there are plenty of people that are getting him into cover and ladling some water into his lips, and he's feverishly accepting it. So you feel like maybe you can't be of much use there, but the boat, maybe take a look at it, and you note that it looks familiar to you. And in fact, as you're sort of looking over the inside, you see something's been etched into one of the rowing seats, like one of the boards, I guess, that two people would sit on. The letters GT, and it comes flooding back that you carved those initials.
Tomato.
You've been on this boat before.
I'm GT. It took me a minute. I was gonna look up. I was gonna control F GT, but I'm GT. Glonda Thrasm. Oh man.
Good old gin and tonic.
Okay. So I was on this little boat.
This is the launch from the Wyvern.
Oh.
I carved my name into it.
Yeah, you were bored.
How very summer camp of me. Okay. Oh my God, guys. I know that boat. That's my boat.
Well, okay,
Your boat?
that's what I was waiting for.
I paused for dramatic effect. Okay.
So all we need to do is follow the trail of this boat, and it will lead directly to the Wyvern.
Yeah, I hope it left crumbs.
It may have.
Perhaps this man who is, if we can revive this man, he might be able to tell us more about where the ship was headed. Do you think that this is a rowboat of your
It's
ship?
gotta be. These are my initials.
GT, my goodness.
I
That's
know.
right.
It took me a minute too. But I have done it. I already did it in the bathroom.
Should we not bring
in
this
this
poor
boat.
soul on board our ship? Here, Terragar is going. Can I get into that ship and bring this poor soul into our ship at the very least? Like pick him up?
Oh yeah, that's been done. The crew were equipped
okay.
to bring him in and put him into a hammock and put some water onto him and tend to his abrasions. Yeah.
Okay.
But magical healing will not help in this case unless it is the greater restoration spell, which none of y'all have.
What happens if I use my manacles or ball bearings? Would that
couldn't hurt? Unless maybe it did hurt. Actually, I'm not for sure.
So, sorry,
really
did you
like to
give us
use
a
those.
clear answer of how you do cure exhaustion?
Yeah, you can. Long rest will bring it down a level. So for him, if he has 5 days of long rest, he'll definitely cure it. If you have the greater restoration spell or similar potion, that would do it.
How would you get to level 5 exhaustion? What's happened there that's allowed this character to slip that far?
Go without food and water for a day. That'll give you a level
A single
of exhaustion.
day.
Yep.
And on the sea, no less.
Yeah.
In the sun.
Seagulls are probably poking your knees.
1 day slips you back to level 5? Or slips you back he's been out for 5 days.
He's been out at least for 5 days, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Did he have any identifiable features on him, like a tattoo or a necklace?
That is a great question. He's wearing sailor's rags, basically. And they're not in great shape. Like, they were probably nice at one time, but they're in tatters now. Does he have tattoo?
Does anyone recognize him?
No one on this. Well, that's a good question. Let me throw that to the dice gods to see if maybe somebody.
Anyone on our crew have like one half of the same tattoo?
They're best friends.
Nobody on the crew recognizes him. Glonda, you don't recognize him. You do know that he is not. His sort of ethnicity, for lack of a better term, shows that he is not from Saltmarsh. He is probably what they would call an islander, like from a smaller community. He'd probably be the equivalent of a rural farmer, or he's not got access to the amenities of a city. So hard living, and you're not sure exactly what would have happened that would have brought him onto a boat.
You said he's a farmer. Does he have like dirt under his fingernails, or?
He has no fingernails at all. It looks like he has gnawed on his fingers. and they'd be cracked and bleeding.
Rough.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Yeah, his skin is scabbed and sunburned. Yeah, he's emaciated. Yeah, he's in bad shape.
Cool. I'm gonna name him Scabby.
Is there a chance that if with a few days rest, that he can come back from this?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's food, water, and rest. That is what he would need to recover his exhaustion.
Okay.
Yeah. If you don't get an
Let's give
opportunity to
Scabby
long
some
rest,
food,
it's bad
water,
news.
and rest. Let's take care of Scabby.
How many days transpire between finding him and us getting to Poniard?
You were able to get there in the equivalent of just over 1 day. So it's not enough for him to get to reduce a level. So it'll be a couple more hours yet before he is at least at level 4, at which point he'll probably
Be able to speak.
Yeah.
Well, let's keep him with us then, because I think he's a valuable.
He's a huge clue.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We have to protect
He's not even
him.
rested enough if I gave him one of my special massages.
Couldn't hurt unless it hurt. So I'm not sure.
All right, I'll be gentle.
You think about the massage and you note that his cracked and weathered skin and exposed sores might be, you're not super eager to touch that.
Oh, okay.
But you could, maybe that is something you would overlook in the spirit.
I'll whisper relaxing thoughts into his ear to try and speed the process along.
As you are hanging with him, he does from time to time groan, and he whispers no occasionally. But it sounds like he's whispering, no, 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 that kind of thing. And
Okay, noted.
Be clear.
Understood. Got it.
Gnome or no?
well, if it was more elaborate, he might say negative, or
Got it.
yeah. But no is what he's not. No,
Thanks for checking, Joe John. That was important.
you never know.
You never
never know.
Gnome?
John Duran, is that it? Yeah. As you you make your way around the cape of the north of Flotsam Island, and the sailor in the crow's nest cries out, "Land ho! Poniard ho!" And he points out the port city of Poniard, which Salwa says,
Cool.
"Well, this should be interesting."
Why is that?
Well, I'm not going to lie to you. This is not a cheap place. And
We're
usually,
loaded.
my choice would be to avoid this city whenever possible. It's a little chaotic to predict how things are going to go.
As chaotic as rolling a die with 20 sides?
Pretty that, yes, absolutely. If such a thing were to exist here, I don't know why you'd ever have a 20-sided die when you could have a fairly good 6-sided die.
Well, to each their own. Let's not judge.
True that. Well, anyway, Poniard, that city's full of rogues.
All right, let's go somewhere else.
All right, then. I'll gladly turn this ship around for you.
Well, do you think our crew would feel unsafe in this place?
This lot? Oh, they'd be happy as clams in this place. There's enough brothels and taverns to keep them going for months.
Then we have
T's
nothing
and
to worry
T's.
about. Gnorman will be especially happy.
I will tell you that...
I just woke up and I'm already happy.
He's a gnome after all.
Speaking of waking up, I need everybody to make a wisdom saving throw for me, please.
Wisdom.
I don't like how you worded that.
Okay, sorry.
No?
I'm just going to use this because I ran out.
Please do.
Okay.
It's very exciting.
Oh,
Whoa.
Ba-boom.
Wow,
Oh,
make it 3,
man.
make it
Whoa.
3, make it 3. Damn it. I got an 8.
wisdom saving throw. 21.
Did my
And
roll
just-
show up?
It did. You.
Mine was a 12.
And just for I rolled a 28.
Yes, I understand you rolled really, really well.
Yes.
Jordan, you got a 14.
Oh, great.
So I don't know if you add on to that with your wisdom.
Yeah, I probably should. 3, so 17.
17. Okay.
Okay, what happened to me?
Absolutely nothing. I'm just, for whatever reason, you had to roll.
Just to clarify, this is my Poniard background. When you describe Poniard, this is what it makes me think of. Right?
I like the snowbanks in the tropical island. That's the best part.
Is that Niagara?
Yes.
Niagara Falls, Ontario.
Didn't it remind you of Niagara a bit?
Does it remind you of Niagara a bit?
I love that Burger King.
So I rolled a natural 20 on that wisdom saving throw, and I still don't know anything more now than I did then.
That's exactly the case.
Okay. All right.
The island, Flotsam Island, is like most islands in this chain, largely jungle. It's got a few settlements around it, notably Poniard, which you're right next to. And Windward is another... here, I'll very quickly move this so it changes the camera angle. That's not where I wanted it to go at all. I don't know why we're there. Maybe it'll do it if I do this. I don't know, Al. I don't know why it went there. That's very strange. Should go there. Does it? Yay, it moved. Okay. So it's got Windward, which is a smaller port city, and Poniard in the north.
Sorry, hang on.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. You made us we all did a throw and nobody failed it, so you're telling us nothing?
Correct.
Understood. Okay, sorry, continue.
There's something we're not...
Wait, does that mean I didn't fail?
Nothing adverse happens to you that you are aware of.
You're aware of.
So
that's the
you
trick.
failed your wisdom saving.
You're probably dead.
I'm eventually gonna just
You're probably already dead.
Jump off the ship.
You've hit stage 6 exhaustion, and this is all for naught.
I just need a nap and a burrito.
That's all you need.
Oh,
largely.
don't we all?
Mm-hmm.
Classic Naparito.
So, would you like to be more paranoid about the saving throw, or
no? Let us keep going.
Did anybody sense that something weird was happening to them?
No.
Okay, well then yeah, our characters wouldn't investigate it any further. That's just more meta. So yeah, all good.
Pretty meta. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, Jordan.
Have we landed?
You are about to land. I was about to describe the island, which is largely picture palm trees, and if you were to choose a modern analogous, it would be the island from Lost. It would be that dense overgrowth, lots of hills and mountainous areas. You on your way, you would have heard about what Flotsam Island and most of the islands in this area in the holds of the Sea Princes are all about. Largely, it is plantations. So they harvest some exotic fruits. There is also at least one silver mine that you're aware of in Poniard or outside of Poniard. But these plantations are all managed by or owned by kind of barons, rich merchants, and they would use agents to run these plantations. There's also a brisk trade in slaves in the holds of the Sea Princes, although the largest market for that would be in Monmerg, the capital of the holds of the Sea Princes. You don't know particularly whether slaves come through Poniard, but they certainly come through somewhere. So the actual city is around 1,500 people, majority of humans, but there are a number of different races there. And the governor is a fellow named Ranaz Robriga. And he's known to own over a dozen plantations, ruling the city with an iron fist. And he has a strict zero-tolerance policy for 2 crimes, murder and cheating. Pretty much anything else goes. So as you pull up to Poniard, you see there are 4 large docks on which there are a number of boats. Salwis says, it's pretty much an import trade here. There's largely exports, but frankly, they don't produce anything like luxury items, wine, or expensive foods or anything like that. So that all gets a very high price here. Unfortunately, we don't have any of that. So you'll have to pay hard coin for any kind of landing rights.
Again, please, we're loaded.
He says, oh, well, that's good to know.
Ixnay on the Oded lay. Ixnay on the Oded lay. Immoralian
Hang
nay.
on, may I use comprehend languages just quickly?
We're not familiar with this language.
What is this? All right, I'll use my level 1 spells.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So when you pull into the dock, you're greeted by a couple things. One is the dockmaster, who informs you that, a couple things. You hear the sounds of, it's late morning by the time you pull in, so around 10:30. And it's delicious weather, delightful weather, sunny, a bit of a breeze blowing in. It's not raining like it usually is in Saltmarsh. You get the smell of fish and all sorts of maritime industry. And as you pull in, you also note there are a lot of sharks circling your boat, which is a little bit unnerving. But they give you a little bit of a wide berth. The dockmaster informs you that landing rights will be 10 gold pieces, and that includes a refill on your water. But if you want, you can also anchor offshore, and then it would only be a single gold piece, which Solwys raises his eyebrow at, and he says, "That's not that cheap here. What's going on?" And the dockmaster says, "Well, it's courtesy of the governor. Don't you know it's the Festival of the Sea? He's trying to encourage a little bit of local trade."
Do you accept exchanges for platinum bullion?
And it gives you a look like...
I'm just kidding. I didn't say that.
Says, afraid coin only here, but we will take Keyland or hold coins.
DM, may I ask you a quick question here?
Yes,
out
go.
of the narrative. Can I now transform into a shark now that I have seen a shark?
You would need a little bit more time to attune with it. You would need to sort of have some quality.
Should I
time
just
with
jump in the water with the shark?
I love that idea. I'm sure that wouldn't have any negative consequences. You also can't help but notice a little further down the dock, there are 12 gibbets, which have, and that is to say, you would hang people off of these gibbets, and hanging for each of them is half of a corpse, the upper half. And entrails are sort of haphazardly dripping out.
Is this the other half of the guy we saw in that river?
Yeah, there are 12 copies of the exact same guy. Yeah, yeah.
Mystery solved.
It doesn't take much to sort of see what may have happened here, because there's a complicated, well, not complicated, it's a pulley with some rope that would allow whatever is tied to this thing to be lowered into the water.
Oh.
But the dockmaster doesn't even blanch or blink an eye as you are discussing your landing, and he's wondering whether you would like to tie up at the dock or whether you would like to anchor offshore.
Dock.
I'm for docking, and not dealing with the drama of rowing in these shark-infested waters.
He says, "Excellent choice," and he marks something down.
Yes. Okay, good.
And he looks over at Solwys and says, "Captain Firestrider, good to see you again." And Firestrider gives him a, "They'll be paying." He says, "Yes, well, that'll be 10 coins, please."
10 gold coins?
Yes.
Who,
Man, Tergar.
Sure. Done.
All right. He looks them over and he gives them a bite. And he says, "Yeah, we'll take your key of land trash. It's fine." Clinks them away. And he says, "Welcome to Poniard. Please enjoy your stay. Your docking here is good for the day. If you wish to extend it, just see me."
Where? Like here?
He points to an office further up. And I will take the opportunity to change them.
Is there a map of Poniard?
There sure is.
Oh.
Hey, buddy. I understand there's a festival on right now. What night of the festival is it? Anything super duper we need to check out?
Oh, this moves around. Yeah, he says, "Oh well, there's no particular events per se, but I do know that the governor has very generously waived all taxes on drink and services at the local brothels. So there has been There has been a brisk trade there, if you know what I mean. But if you have the coin, there are 2 theaters in the Merchants Estates area that you could spend some time in. I understand some local talent has come in to provide some decent entertainment. Of course, the taverns do have their own fair share of bards and storytellers and such. It's very delightful these days. Now, mind you, the increase in crime has also gone through the roof. He points over at the corpses that are hanging. So I suggest you guard your valuables at all times, and obviously, please don't get into any trouble. We wouldn't have to give you the tour, as they say.
Yeah. All right.
Aside with
Got
the
it.
group?
Sorry, what's that, Jordan?
May I have an aside with the group?
Of course. He trots back to his office.
Hey, group.
Yes.
We have to keep our valuables protected. What's the state of our valuables right now? All the bullion is in the sack of holding. But do we have anything else that we need to be protective of?
Well, we do have our gold pieces and silver pieces.
On our own bags.
Platinum.
That's on our own selves, yes.
I keep them in my bra. You?
I
Is
suppose
there
I should.
anything,
Yes.
Is there anything in the ship that we should be nervous about?
Yeah, what kind of guard does the ship maintain?
Are you including Solwis in your
Yes.
group aside? Okay.
Yes.
Well, he says usually a policy here is that the crew go off onto shore leave in shifts. So there'll be a day on and another day. So we keep a guard here. How many days do you want to stay, by the way? I recommend at least 2 so that we can at least alternate.
And 2. Because we're here to specifically get supplies, are we not?
We are, and I guarantee you in this kind of place that won't happen quickly. They'll try and bleed you for as much as possible.
Can you take care of that?
Yes, I know the people we can talk to. The only question would be what caliber of supplies would you be interested in?
Well, the crew's quite touchy, so perhaps slightly above par.
I could see what I could do there. And usually would come in, he does a little mental calculation, food and water above average, probably around 150 gold, I'd say.
For the next month?
For the next month, indeed. Milady.
Oh.
I have a question. I don't know if I'm being paranoid or Pollinard. What is this place called?
Banyard.
Poniard.
I don't know if I'm being paranoid.
Good effort.
But should we have a guard stationed 24/7 outside the
1, 2, 3, not it.
no one of us, one of the crew members around the poor soul who washed ashore?
You're thinking about Denise St. Clair?
Denny.
Could we have Denise St. Clair or
Yes.
Mopey or Dopey?
I like that idea.
On this guy, because he's quite valuable to us. Potentially, we don't know yet.
He's staying on the ship, correct?
Oh, he's in no condition to go anywhere.
So I like the idea that we already have a guard at the gangplank. Let's get Denise, because
Let's get Mopey and Dopey. Have 2 so
You
they
want
got each other's
Mopey and Dopey?
back.
Oh, I like that
I
idea.
will
even
tell
better.
you that every single crew member is looking out at this at Poniard and the delights of the taverns and
Yeah.
brothels. Like that's Christmas over there. So
Mopey and Dopey
but
can
Mopey
take
and Dopey are
turns. They
stupid.
can run shift duty, just watching our recovering friend.
Or is
I
there,
like that.
Is there a medic on board?
you do have your ship's wizard, who also is sort of the de facto surgeon, doctor, Zachary Halfaclack. But he's kind of a hack.
Florida full clack.
Yeah. He's only half a clack. His father was quarter clack, but he upped it. So, he's looked in on your stowaway. Not a stowaway. He's looked on your fresh edition and said that he just needs food, water, and bed rest, and he'll be fine.
So we're gonna ask Mopey and Dopey. Well, let's get the 3 of them, Mopey, Dopey, and Denise, to watch over, take shifts.
Yes.
There we
You
go.
want us to stay on board and just watch him?
Not the three of you together. Take turns like everyone else. Instead of being on the gangplank, you're going to be down here making sure this person's okay. And if they're not okay, then you're going to be answering to me.
And we'll give you a gold piece a day to do it.
And we'll give you an extra gold piece.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, sure. Yeah, we can look after him. Sure. So you want us to just look at him?
No, just make sure he's okay. Give him water. Make sure dresses. Well,
Make
actually,
sure
don't touch
no
his
one
wounds.
kidnaps him.
Yeah, make sure no one
Tend to
kidnaps
his
him.
needs, provide security.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So you want us to secure him? You want to make sure he doesn't go anywhere?
That
You
no
know
one
how you
takes
keep-
him.
You know
Oh,
how you
Denise.
keep yourselves alive?
Denise, I have spoken
Do
up on your
that
behalf so
for
many
him.
times on this ship. Don't fail me, Denise.
Okay. All right. I won't go into the guard skit from Monty Python, although I was sorely tempted.
Yeah, that would have been good. Yeah.
All right. So you are in an area of town known as the Docks, surprisingly enough. To your south is an area known as the Main Square. You get this, information fairly easily. There are also the warehouses and the processing factories. This is where fruit from the plantations are brought north to Ponyard to be processed and put into warehouses for an expectation for export. There is also the merchants' estates and the governor's mansion is further to the southwest of the city. I've zoomed in so far I can't even see these names, so let me just unzoom that a little bit so I can read it. That's better. Yeah. Then we have the guild halls. So you've got a few guilds here, like the Bakers Guild and the Mariners Guild. There is a Carpenters Guild and a Blacksmiths Guild. They all have that little area in the south there, which if you need something done or you need to hire some laborers, that's where you would go. Then there is an area called the Alley, which is kind of the cheaper, dangerous part of town where a lot of people live in tenement housing, and there are a lot of taverns mashed in together. And finally, there's an area called Middlesong in the south, which is where some reasonably affluent but not well-off people. There's no real middle class. There's kind of like struggling to make it, and then fabulously rich living in the merchants' estates. But there are a couple of people that have created a bit of a living that they live there, or they have rental properties there. And there's also a barracks where the constabulary of Ponyard live and do their job. And you see lots of them walking around right now. They are keeping a very able eye over the city. Oh yeah, and there's also an area called Cheapside outside the walls of the city. You can't help but notice the city is surrounded by a big wall, stone manufacturer, lots of turrets, and there are, I think, 3 gates, west, south, and east, into the city. So the Sawwest tells you that if you're actually interested in going into any of these taverns, you'd be going into the alley, and you best keep your weapons and wits about you at all times. There's also, if you want him to deal with the food, he's going to go down to one of the agents for the merchants and see if he can't work out a deal.
Should we be heading to taverns to see if we can pick up any information on our captain that we're looking for?
Bonus points if people can remember his name.
Well, I think it's very well known that his name is not Faskatan, because that was the person who gave it. But it was Pizraeli. Captain Pizraeli is who.
No.
The one who we're with right now?
No, the captain who's stolen the wyvern.
Oh, Trevor.
Terragali.
It's Trevor
Jack.
Terragali.
It's Jack Terragali.
Yeah.
Ding.
I didn't consider him a captain. I consider him a no good piece of
Whoa!
There it
But
is.
an answer right away.
Very good. That is indeed the dude. So yeah, what do you want to do? Salwa says it'll likely take him a little while to sort out some food. The half of the crew immediately goes down to the alley.
Sorry, how many? So the alley is one bar, but there or tavern. There's other taverns.
The alley is basically the cheapest housing and food shacks you can find, cheek by jowl with taverns and brothels.
So it's like the Temple Bar or the Byward Market for Ottawa folks.
Yeah, okay. Very much.
All right. Well, should we not head there and see if we can hear any news of Terragali?
Yeah.
How long do we have to wait for Sleepy Boy to wake up?
He'll be at least another day, is the estimate.
Okay.
I think we should also stick together if this is a dangerous place.
I agree.
Okay. So as you make your way down to the alley, you pass by, and it's about 11 o'clock in the morning by now, by the way. You pass by people that are men and women, largely human, but there are a couple of different races on evidence. There's a couple of elves and dwarves, not so many gnomes. In fact, you haven't seen a gnome at all, Norman.
Oh, geez.
But they are highly excited and excitable. So they are, and usually they got a drink in their hand or are smoking something, and they are really, they'll be in song, or they'll be sharing stories, or they'll be in a brawl knocking each other's teeth out. So it is that level of high excitement right now. But you end up coming down to the alley, and I'll just park you down there. And it is, there's this kind of a smaller stall market outside of all these buildings. So not every, but a lot of the needs for basic food and drink and vice you have at your disposal are on offer. So whatever you want seems to be available to you. There are a lot of, what's the technical word, prostitutes of, again, various genders and races that are also offering their services to you, either subtly or quite overtly.
Nim, you want to try and find a new spell book?
Ooh, well, I'm already quite... I suppose if they've got any level 4 spells, I might be intrigued.
Okay.
Yes. I also don't have a lot of money. So.
Oh, really? You've been boasting about your riches for the last...
It's all in the family, you see. And liquid assets are much less.
It's all tied up, really.
Yeah.
It's in the mail.
I'm really the only one who can learn, like, as can we, the other spellcasters in the party, can we learn spells as well?
So the wizard class is the only class that can sort of take on new spells this way. For bards, they acquire spells every level they go, every level they gain. For clerics, you have access to for druids and clerics, you have access, actually I think paladins too. So Jordan and Dan, you both have access to every possible spell in your class. You just have to choose them when you you end your long rest.
Oh, so Nimmerlian doesn't have to choose. You don't have to choose your spells every day. You just have access to all of the ones you.
I still have to memorize which ones, because I can only actually use 14 of them out of all the ones I have. So if I know that we're going to be talking to someone who's speaks a different language, I can put comprehend language. If I think I'm going to need to teleport somewhere, I can make sure of that one. And some of them are rituals, so if I even haven't memorized it, I can spend an hour to do it anyway.
Okay.
But like Find Familiar, I have Petrie running around. It's one of my spells, but I don't need to have it known because I've got a Petrie.
Because it's right. Gotcha. Okay. So do you want to go and do, because again, I think we should stick together. So if you're looking to buy a spell, then I think we should go with you.
I think what's probably more important though is trying to find information, isn't it? Like I don't really need a spell, guys. That was just kind of an aside. So I think information's probably
Let's go into a tavern.
Yeah.
Okay. So you just have to tell me what kind of tavern you want to go into, and I'll tell you whether it's available.
A sailor's tavern.
Low end sailor's tavern.
The lower end sailor's tavern.
Yep. Okay. So
I agree.
You wander into the Drunken Fish, which it's got a thatched roof, and the floorboards squeak as you wander into it. You can see the ground beneath some of the open spaces of the floorboards, and somebody has made an attempt to throw some straw on the ground to make it, to clean up some of the muck that gets thrown here. As you enter, there is a fist fight underway. And it doesn't last very long before one of them is put down by the other, and then the other guy, blood coming out of an open wound in his head, laughs loudly and sits down at his bench and immediately drains his tankard. The other guy is unconscious at the ground before him, and there is a rousing cheer as this fight is finished off.
We're in a Klingon bar?
You are in basically a Klingon bar filled with human and half-orc sailors. So they are a rowdy bunch. A fellow with a lute is in the corner, and
did he use a batleth, or was it just with his fists?
It's just with his mailed fists, with the Klingon mail. Yeah,
got it.
But as soon as the fight is over, the lute player picks up again and starts a jaunty tune. Immediately, people start slapping on the floor with their booted feet to go in time to. And as you enter, the bartender takes a look at you, takes another look at you, and says, "Welcome to the Crazy Fish. Did you be wanting something to drink?"
Blood wine.
I thought this was the Drunken Fish. We should back up. He said Crazy Fish. This seems different.
Yes, well, we changed the sign the other night. And,
congratulations.
Yes,
whatever it
don't
is.
You know?
What's everybody drinking? What's popular around these parts? And give me 2 of those.
2 ales coming up. And as he pulls on the tankard, you hear a large belching noise, and he immediately pops up to not frothing ales and hands it to you and says, "That'll be a silver each."
All right, pay the man, Tergar.
Can you exchange a piece of platinum bullion?
He says, "Can I what now?"
I'm just kidding.
Joe John, he's kidding.
Redcon.
I just bought the. That's 5 silver, you said?
Two silver pieces for an ale. If everyone wants one, then it would be a silver piece for every ale that you
Let's
want.
have a round for everyone.
Pay him, Tergar.
No, I'm not buying a round for everyone in the bar.
There's 40 people in here.
Is there anything that you would provide to a young maiden at this establishment?
And without missing a beat, he says, "Oh, no maiden would come in here."
And what would you call me, good sir?
He sort of gets that maybe he has offended. He's like, I might have a bottle of wine in here somewhere. Let me just...
Excellent. Yes, thank you.
Pulls out something, and there's like dust on it, and he says,
Perfect.
Here, you can have some of this, maybe. I think it's
Perfect.
red. Yeah,
Excellent.
Good. And he like pulls out the stopper with his teeth and pours it in a glass, which he pours and stops, and he looks at it, and he thinks... And he does one of these, and then he gives you the glass and says, here you go.
Oh, excellent. And she'll hand him a silver.
Excellent. It's all uniformly awful. The wine is almost vinegar, and the ale is flat. But everyone else seems to be enjoying it.
Andrew, is there anyone in this establishment that looks like they're drinking alone?
Let's have you make a perception roll. That's always a fun thing to roll.
Sure.
Body or just Ter?
Well, Ter asked the question, so I'll let him see if he can find it specifically.
Yeah. Let's open this back up.
I think you're pretty good at perception, too.
I am really good at perception. So that would be a 12.
It's pretty crowded in here, so you were like trying to, and there's no tables per se, there's benches. So if you were drinking alone, you wouldn't get to have a table by yourself.
Is there a bar?
There is definitely a bar, and it's cheek by jowl at the bar, but people generally just go in, grab their drinks, and then go back to the people they were talking to.
Okay. Are there any empty spots where I could... I'd like to play something that I haven't done very much with Tergar, which is he is that folk hero thing. I don't think I relate well to the uppity ups. but I think these people are like kind of like his people.
Okay.
So even though I lack charisma, I think that might actually be a pro in this situation, not a con. So I'm gonna find an empty spot at a table and just wedge myself in there and try to strike up a casual conversation in the hopes that I can maybe hear some news of the wyvern.
Sounds good. What do the rest of you want to do here? We'll go just around and I'll put everyone on the spot. So Jordan, what does Jordan want to do?
Glenda, do you want to do body shots?
I was gonna say, yeah, I just want to have some drinks.
Can I, Andrew? Can we find a prominent table? Like, is there a table on a stage or something, so that we can be very visible to everyone else while we're just drinking and being loud?
There is a raised platform. Currently, the lute player is on it playing his lute, and a lot of people near him are stomping in time with whatever he's playing, whether it's a slow song or a fast song.
So there's nothing else we can do but to draw attention to ourselves other than just be loud and boisterous.
Yeah, I mean, you could step up on the bar, you could step up on a bench, you could push the lute player out of the way and step up on there. There's plenty of places to step up on.
No, I just want to sit and drink, and hopefully someone will come up to me if they have something to talk to us about.
Okay, so Glenda and Jondron are sitting and drinking. What about you, Brooke? In the pub? I like your background. It's good.
Yes, I think she'll want to use her perception skills and really, I mean, she's not good at insight per se, but she's pretty good at like investigation, and I think her big thing would be just wanting to see if she can recognize any of their emblems. Like, does she see anything that looks salt marshish or wyvernish or anything like that? She'll probably just be trying to do that.
Okay, sounds good. And Al, how about Norman?
I am staying near the bartender, asking a lot of very intelligent questions about the beverages that are being served. If maybe a VIP was to show up, like, is there a secret stash of super good, like, extra nice stuff? I'm trying to be real cool about it, but I'm mostly hanging out at the bar trying to see if I can glean any info off the bartender.
Okay, sounds good. And now that we've established all that, is this a good time for us to take our break? And we'll come back in 5 minutes and see what shenanigans occur after that.
Sounds good.
All right.
Excellent.
Bye.
See you all in 5.
All right.
And we're back with some of Crush Improv because that's just how we roll. So we'll pick it up with encounters with
the guys.
Just the guys.
Just the guys from now on.
All right. Woo! Guy talk. Hey guys, how are your spark plugs doing?
Oh man, they are firing.
How about that local sports team? Hey,
Yeah,
they're doing real well.
Balls, man. Yeah, pizza.
Yeah. What do you guys think about the upcoming orchestra season at the National Arts Center?
Yeah. Get me some mandolin.
I'm so down with the mandolins. All right. You guys are... So, let me see if I got this straight. Tergar has gone in to try and rub shoulders with Hoi Polloi. Jojandron is sitting there enjoying his drink, and Norman is chatting with the bartender. Let's have the camera swing to Jojandron, who is hanging on the bar, politely enjoying his drink, when another well-dressed man, he's come into the bar, and he sidles up next to Jojandron, and he gets the bartender's attention and says, "An ale, if you please, my good man." And the bartender looks at him, gives him a nod as if he recognizes him, and hands him over his ale. And he turns to Jojandron and says, "How are you doing this evening, my good sir?"
I'm doing quite well. Can I treat you to that pint? That ale?
That's very generous of you, sir. But as we both know, it's not very expensive and it's not very good, so I would save you the trouble.
Just a gesture. My name is Jojandron.
Ah, very good to meet you, sir. My name is Glendale.
Glendale.
Yes. I am agent to Lord Ransteran. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Lord Hamsterwheel. I'm not sure if I...
It's pronounced Ansteran.
Ansteran. Yes, I'm not sure if I'm aware of him.
Oh, no, don't trouble yourself. I'm sure that you don't look like a regular or a native to Ponyard. You're clearly in on that ship that's just arrived, and I wouldn't expect that you would know any of the likes of us here.
Oh, you're a local, I see.
Oh, yes, I've worked here for a few years now.
But you seem of noble background.
Well, this is where the money is when you're off the coast. And I can't say I've complained. I've made a fair bit of money here, and one only makes money by saving it. So when I do my drinking, I do it in the lower parts, and it's where the more interesting action is found, if you know what I mean.
So you have a nice cottage on the beach or something?
I have an estate on the beach, yes, near Monmurg. That's where my family stays when they would never visit here. No, that would not do at all. But yes, I'm working on a project, you see.
Tell me about it.
Well, as it happens, a new vein of gold has been discovered, just on this very island. As you may know, there's already a silver mine here, and it's quite prosperous, but gold is very rare in these parts. So when I was told that surveyors had found mere nuggets, I thought, well, this can't be, but sure enough, I went out to see it, and there is a vein rich and deep in one of the nearby mountains. So it has fallen to me from Lord Ansteran to find investors in this project, for it is very expensive indeed to set up a mine.
Oh, I see. And when did they discover this vein?
Well, it was about a month ago, I think now.
Oh, wow. And have you noticed an influx of gold, people seeking gold, the miners, some sort of Klondike Rush type scenario?
Well, he looks left, he looks right, he looks at you, and he says, "No, actually, this is kind of a secret, you see, but being a noble stock yourself, I assumed that you could keep it, and more to the point. This may be an opportunity if you wished to at least double or even triple your money."
I do really like tripling my money. Gosh, well, how much would you be looking for me to invest?
Well, there would be multiple levels, I assume. I'm still in the process of organizing the claims that would go in, but if you were interested, I'd say, well, what would a trifling amount be for someone of your caliber? 500 gold pieces would easily be enough to secure you a claim on the mine.
And now I don't like to just jump in on investments without knowing who else I'm investing with. Can you tell me any other people that have taken up the cause so far?
Oh, yes, indeed. And he rhymes off to other people, 3 other lords that you have no idea who their names are.
Anyone else?
Sorry, could you list them?
I thought I could dodge that. Lord Caliker and Lord Iona and Lord Popinjay.
Excellent. And are they all locals?
Oh, yes, they are all locals here, merchant princes. One day they may aspire to be sea princes, but for now they secure a very reasonable income through their plantations here on the island.
And would I be your first off-island investor?
You would. It is quite rare that people would deign to come to Poignard. Certainly someone of your class, and I commend you.
Okay, well, and what's your name again, sir?
I told you. Glendale.
Glendale, that's right. Well, Glendale, how about you give me your contact information?
Would you like my email address that
Yes.
we could exchange? Yes.
Yeah, and I might just I might want a tour of this place before I invest my money. Would you be able to arrange maybe a visit tomorrow?
Alas, it is kind of a secret, you see.
Right,
We
of
are
course.
trying to limit the exposure of this vein, so I don't know if I could. But he looks around and he says, "I can show you some of the samples." He digs into his purse and he pulls out 2 sizable nuggets of gold. I mean, they're still sort of half encrusted into rock, but
That's
they look like gold.
very interesting. Would I be able to purchase one of these nuggets off of you?
You want to purchase one of these?
If it's possible.
I can't see why not. I mean, it is kind of just a raw gold at this point. Listen, if it is an interest of yours, I can't see why not. I have plenty more coming out of this
Or-
untapped vein.
How much would that be?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I am not in this trade. My knowledge lends more to plantation work, if you know what I mean. I'm sort of putting my foot in, dabbling, if you will, in the mining operation. I don't know if you know of anybody who knows more about metals and their worth.
Gosh, I wish I could con stone somehow, but no, that's
I know a guy.
What's that? What's that?
May I
Have
Look at-
overheard this?
may I have overheard?
Absolutely, you may have.
Did somebody say stones? May I look at your stones?
It says, excuse me, young miss,
Glenn Dale. She's with me. This is Galanda.
Well, a compatriot of Sir John Duran. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm assuming you told him your name when he told you his. I can't remember if you did, but we're
Yes,
going to
I did.
assume that. Yeah, oh, good. Well, any companion of his is a friend of mine. Yes, here, you may please inspect these. As a dwarf, I'm sure you have special knowledge of all things mineral.
Amazing. I do.
Excellent. So, yeah, he hands you over one of the nuggets. And you may indeed roll stone cunning.
Don't mind if I do. I take out one of those like little.
Oh my God. This is wonderful.
Okay, 16.
16. So it is indeed, you're pretty sure it's gold. And it looks like it's a sizable amount for it's a big stone and gold has encrusted into it. But it's not fake, if that's the thing you're looking for. It looks like it's probably legitimately been carved out of something.
It looks real.
And you would estimate, I mean, if this were shaved, like if the gold was melted away and redone, you might have enough for about 3 gold pieces. So it's probably worth maybe a little more. Fair price might be 5.
Okay.
I whisper all this information to Jojo.
Okay. Well, this is really interesting, Glendale. I'd love to meet with you tomorrow and chat this over a bit more. Could you tell all your fellow investors and the lords that I'm in town, and just pass along that we're in a boat and we're probably going to be staying on the boat this evening. I'm not sure. But we'd love to see you all tomorrow if that's possible.
Well, indeed. I'm sure I could pass this on. What say you'd like to speak more on this tomorrow? Would you like to meet me, say any names off a place in Middle Song? It's a bit higher of an establishment. The Lazy Puffin, we're going to call it.
Perfect. We'll have afternoon tea.
That's a cute
Lazy
name.
Puffin.
Excellent.
Lazy Puffin.
Pleasure meeting you.
And you as well, sir. I will meet you then.
Thanks for letting me look at your stones.
A pleasure to meet you, Glonda.
The honor is yours.
And then we have Dan in the midst of several sailors who are having an argument about the best way to catch an easterly breeze with Genoa.
With a what?
It's a type of sail.
Oh, okay.
And they are raising their voices, clearly in disagreement. And you've tried to sort of throw in a story here and there, and there's been a little bit of a catch. But if it's not nautical, they're quickly bored by it. So it comes back to Tales of the Sea quite often. And then when the lute player strikes up a song they're particularly interested in, all conversation goes as they sing along with it. So, but they don't mind you being there. They're, you're, as you say, you're a man of the people, and you fit in. Would be the best way of putting it. So, but after a while, it seems like the tension is starting to ratchet up, and you're a pretty good judge of character. It seems a little bit odd, very quickly, how quickly it is ratcheting up in tension. Like it was barely raised, and now it looks like they're about to get into a fight. And you don't know whether this is just because this is the way they are, or this is the booze talking, or what. But it just seems like everything has been amped up to 11 with these people.
I think in the way I think I'm approaching this, I'm just staying really even keeled. I'm not getting too roused up, but I'm just going to look at them and go, you guys need to sit down and relax.
And the particularly large burly guy who was championing the case of short shifting the lanyards to ensure that the sail is well keel hauled. That is not a thing for anybody who really knows sailing. Looks to you and says, "Oh yeah? What gives you the right to tell me to settle down, little man?"
I'll tell you why, because I've been sailing for longer than I like. I hate sailing. I'm not a sailor. I'm a landlubber, and I love it. But let me tell you something. I've seen some things. I've seen some dark things, some bad things, and I have done some very, very bad things. And tonight, all I just want to drink. I want to be around my people, just the everyday people. And I don't want to hear your yelling back and forth about who gives a shit what kind of sail it is. You know what? Let's just drink. In fact, I'm about to put my money where my mouth is. I'm buying a round for the table. Let's go. Let's drink, boys and ladies, if there's any ladies.
There is.
Yeah, there are two, and they're in your party.
Well, are they at the table with me?
I'm everywhere. I'm
not buying for the bar.
around.
I'm buying for this group that's arguing.
Okay. I was about
I just heard the term flying around and like,
Yeah.
zoop.
Well, was Norman always here? Who knew? I was about to have you make an intimidation roll right up until you offer to buy a round of drinks, and that immediately deflates the tension. If you would mark off 10 silver pieces, the bartender gladly sets up the bar, and feelings seem to be restored almost as quickly as they ascended towards violence, curiously enough.
So let me ask you, boys, where are you coming from? What ships are you sailing on? What's your business here in Ponyard?
Well, we're local sailors, says one of them. We We fish around the north coast of Flotsam Island. It's good fishing.
Must be a hard life.
Hard enough. But I fish as much as I like, and I earn an honest living. Honester that can be done here in Punyard.
Get a lot of ships from the mainland or the other islands in and out of here?
Aye, many of them come to ply their trade here, offload their highfalutin coastal goods. We can't live an honest life without the coastal goods.
If I threw a name at you, could you maybe tell me if you've heard the name before or met the man?
Well, you can always throw the name around.
And if I like my answer, perhaps there'll be another round in it for you, huh? Jack Terrigali. Have any of you boys heard of Jack Terrigali?
Any of them heard of Jack Terrigali? Let's find out. Jack Terrigali. No. And they sort of hum and haw and think, and they're honestly thinking because there's a round of drinks on the line to say, can't say that name rings a bell around these parts.
Nah, well, thanks for that. You know what? For your honesty and for the hard work you do fishing, another round of drinks.
It's like they never had drinks to begin with. How did those tankards get so dry so quickly? Mark off another 11 silver pieces because Norman has been here the whole time.
Yeah, okay.
Just pay the man, Tergar.
Yeah, done.
Does Norman want to offer that he has heard of Jack Terrigali?
No. I won't go that far.
I heard he stole a ship. All right. Nimralian is maybe at the there's no far end of the bar. It's all kind of very close in packed, but getting a lot of glances. Very much a fish out of water if we were to mix metaphors. But one of the glances is a sort of ongoing long glance from a swarthy, not very, like he's better dressed than some of these sailor folk, but he's definitely a bit sketchy. And he looks like he's kind of working up the nerve to come over and talk to you.
Ugh. Gross. She does not want to be approached.
So it's about that time that he has worked up the nerve and drunk enough liquid courage that he goes over and approaches you.
Great.
He says, milady, I see that your companions have maybe left you for a time, and I wonder if maybe I could have a word with you.
A word, good sir?
Yes, I note that you don't have any servants with you. I figured a lady like yourself would have servants.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I don't mean to speak out of turn, but I have a bit of a situation. You see, we have a couple of indentured laborers that normally we would take to Monmerg to be put into the markets, but they can't make the trip. We need to find homes for them immediately, and normally it would be, well, at least they're prime workers. They do pretty much whatever you need. But they'd be worth about 100 gold pieces each. But I could easily let you have them for 100 for the lot.
Oh my gosh.
Oh
She's
my
getting
God.
propositioned for fucking human trafficking right now.
Yeah, of all the characters.
Oh my god.
Tear him one.
I literally want to set this man on fire. Like I want to just like snap my fingers and he just bursts into flame. But then also the more calculated thing would be somehow to liberate these individuals from this area. But I wouldn't want to purchase them because then he'd think that it's one of those like, I'm going to save this lobster from the grocery store and put them into the ocean. But really, they'll just... So she needs to be calculative here so that she can liberate these individuals and also not get charged with murder, because we've been told murder is very much not a thing allowed on this island.
Yeah, they have a system for dealing with murderers, yeah.
Unfortunately.
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, gross. She's not good at all at, like, lying or anything. So I'm sure her, like, disgust is pretty much immediately apparent, but she's going to try to play it off that she's disgusted at these potentially not worthwhile people and not at him, but it's very much at him.
Right, okay.
Oh, God. This is gross. Very gross.
Moral conundrum.
How many people is he propositioning to give her for 100 gold?
Oh, 3, but normally they're 100 gold each. So it's a deal on top of it.
And why? And he's offering this because they can't go to sea? Like they're not seaworthy? I don't get it.
He hasn't really elaborated, but...
Elaborate, please.
He says, well, it's a problem of storage, you see. We've kind of got a glut of workers right now, and we've had to make some really hard decisions about who gets to go to Monmurg. They're all perfectly capable, mind you. They're all excellent quality, but, well, the ship isn't going to be leaving for a couple of days yet because of the festival, and, well, we'd prefer to, maybe caring for them proper, if you know what I mean.
And what is their origin?
Oh, they're from Amadeo. And Amadeo is a jungle. It's a large landmass, much further south from Salt Marsh and even the holds of the Sea Princes. It's a fabled jungle where lots of expeditions go and don't come back. But
how long have they been under your care?
Oh, they've been mere weeks. They were brought in by their clansmen, totally brought in like this as the system requires. I've got papers for them and everything. It would all be quite above board.
Of course. Yes. Well, thank you for such an offer. I will consider it, as having another hand on the ship could be useful. Well, 3 other hands. Whereabouts are they so that I can size them up?
You want to... Well, of course, yes. You'd want to see them, wouldn't you?
Of course.
Well, they're outside the city walls in the pens. I mean, in the holding facilities. Yes.
Oh my God! You can like see her nails like cracking her wine glass as like wine slowly drips down her hand. She's just like, I want to murder this man.
You can come by anytime you like. I'll take you now if you like.
No, no. Excellent. Well, I'll discuss with my colleagues, and if they deem it appropriate to add 3 workers to our roster, then perhaps I will go and have a visit.
Is price the issue? I'm sure there might be some latitude for giving you a fair value. And I mean, really, we wouldn't want to have to, terminate their contracts with us.
Oh my fucking God. You are dark today. You are going incredibly dark. DM.
Yeah.
You're hitting my limit of darkness, FYI. Yes. Yes, price is the issue.
Price is the I'm always open. My employer is always open to a fair bargain. Do you have a budget in mind?
God. Let me speak with my compatriots, and we'll go and view these individuals, and I'll give you perhaps a more appropriate offer.
Right. Okay. I'll be over at this table there with my companions. And he says, if you want to talk more, just wave me down. And if you want me to take you, I'm glad to take you. And he sort of natters as he wanders away.
She checks her pockets and like everything.
Everything seems to be in place. But nice callback to the time you were all robbed blind.
She vomits a bit into her wine glass.
It doesn't. The wine is improved.
Jesus. Oh God, Andrew. Ick. Like the Brook in me wants to like literally light the whole island on fire and do a whole on like. But I know Nim is not necessarily as charged as I am. But she definitely wants to do a breakout. Yeah.
Feeling a Daenerys Targaryen vibe here.
Yeah, one of those like lawful good that she is. She's just like, oh God.
Yeah, definitely.
Is she lawful good? I assume she is.
I think I put her down as chaotic good, but I don't put a whole lot of stock of in alignment.
You did put her down as chaotic good. I would probably put her as lawful good because she's just raised by all the laws and just.
Well, then you be lawful good then. I'm not going to rain on your parade.
Yeah,
in any case, I'm curious to know what dollar amount she puts on these lives in this negotiation.
Now we're getting
Andrew, I don't see. Do we all? I don't have an alignment.
No, I
because you created.
So remember, Nim was an NPC, or at least it was one I created for Des on the way back. So I sort of created her, but okay. I didn't.
I'm a clone.
You are a clone. You didn't have an official.
Andrew is your papa.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah, it's sweet. I've always thought the players can be whatever alignment they want to be. I mean, I'm not going to say, "Oh, you wouldn't do that because you're lawful good." You know, for Dojandron,
sometimes that's good.
There might be a few more stringent requirements because of his class is literally linked to sort of some good deeds, but. And if he sort of decides to take a walk on the dark side, it might have an impact on whether he could still be a paladin. But generally, I don't really want to link you too heavy to a particular alignment.
Okay.
Okay, so you're going to think about it is the official answer.
Yeah, she's like, the official answer is Nim's going to see if we can...
We'll get them out.
Like... Obviously, paying for their freedom is still giving them freedom, but...
Let's steal them.
Yeah.
And kill them outside the city walls.
Wait,
what are the two crimes?
Cheating and murder.
Cheating?
Yes.
Okay.
You can imagine a pretty wide interpretation in the concept of cheating.
Kill Slimeball outside the city walls. Is the law only applied within the city walls?
There would probably also be some generous interpretation on where the scope of the law would be applied.
Let's lure him to our boat and kill him at sea.
Yeah.
Remember, I was going to kill a prisoner a while back.
Yeah.
You were pretty ruthless. You're going to do nasty things. Andrew, I also said that Nim was going to be just like checking for insignia and whatnot. She doesn't see anything relevant?
Certainly nothing that screams Wyvern or Wyvern crew.
Or Salt Marsh.
Or Salt Marsh. No. Definitely nothing that would... Like, the people of Keeland, the people of Salt Marsh, there are fashion trends. There are ways you wear your hair. There are ways you might fiddle with your collar. I don't know. But anyway, point is that here there's none of that. This is very much a different place. People wear their clothes and hair differently. You do stand out because you are not from here, and it is pretty evident anytime anyone talks to you that you are not a local. The only one that might be a little different for is Terkar, who has his common touch. But for now, for whatever reason, everyone seems to be in such a good mood that they are not, it doesn't seem to be an issue unless you choose to make it an issue. So, a couple hours have passed. You've enjoyed some beverages as much as it's possible to enjoy these particular beverages. And Solwys comes back. He says, he wanders in and he looks around with obvious disgust and he says, "You chose to come here?"
And then Nim leans in and goes, "That man tried to sell me human lives."
Oh yeah, that'll happen here. Did you go for it?
And the full glass, she just breaks it. She just breaks the glass.
Okay, the bartender slams on the counter and says, "Oi, that's worth a copper piece, that."
She snarls.
He looks at you and like decides maybe he won't press for the money. Solwes offers you his handkerchief and says, "I got a bit of bad news about the rations. Seems for a number of different reasons they might be a little bit more expensive than I anticipated."
And what are these reasons?
Well, first to be supply. Right now, given that the festival is on, you can't easily get food for love of money. Everything's being eaten and drunk about as quickly as it can be brought into the city. The next reason is simply labor shortage. Right now, anybody who might be tasked to get the food and bring it to the ship, they're mostly in here getting drunk. So costs are a little bit higher than anticipated. And the best I could get is around 1,000 gold. Yeah, that's basically what my reaction was too. But I do have a bit of a lead for you. There is a lord, I've known him from the past, and he might be disposed to sell it to us for a little bit less. But here's the thing, he wants to meet you. He wants to understand what you're doing here and where you're going. So if you talk to him and you press your case and you...
Are you talking to all of us right now, or is it just Nimralian?
It's probably Nimralian and Jojondron, because you're at the table, and I guess...
I feel like you said a few hours have passed. We've probably all rejoined.
Yeah, you all come around, sure. Yeah, you're all there.
Okay. Sure. Let's go talk. What's this guy's name?
Lord Andoran. Jordan recognizes that name. He's the guy that Glendale referred to as his
lord that
he works for.
Okay.
He's one of the less slimy of the lords in this area. I trust him only marginally farther than I could throw him.
Where do we find him?
I know where he lives.
Shall we?
Sure.
All
Does
right.
he pay his workers actual wages?
Oh, he'd pay them the going rate. Probably to get anything done, he'd be paying them more this week.
Good.
It's the only way to get anything done in this godforsaken place.
That's very negative.
So he escorts you, and he's got a couple of some of his other sailors with him, and they've got their hands on their sword hilts as they wander through. You pass through Middle Song, where there's an increased... Oh, yes. As you leave... I almost forgot about this. As you leave the Crazy Fish, formerly the Drunken Fish, you see there is a guy in the middle of the alley, the square of the alley, who's naked. He's a half-elf, and he is... It looks like he's been wallowing in his own filth, and he's kind of... Well, he's a bit of a display right now because he is screaming his head off. And you can make out... actually, I guess it'd be an Elvish he's screaming. And so Jojondron and Terrigar can understand that, as well as Nimralian. I don't think Glonda speaks Elvish, and I don't think Norman speaks Elvish, but you can verify that. He is screaming, "The Antler Man is coming." And he's got a knife in his hand, and he's waving it around, and people are laughing at him, and occasionally throw a bun at him, or they're
Who is coming?
The Antler Man.
Screaming, "The Antler Man is coming."
Antler Man.
Antlers.
And do we know any Antler Men?
No.
Okay.
I would refer you to your notes, I suppose. I am not going to tell you whether or not you know any Antler Men. You certainly don't know this guy.
Well, fellow half elves and full elves, do you want to go talk to this guy here? And
yeah, let's.
Maybe the Antler Man is the demon.
Maybe Jojo, you and I should go because it's our fellow half elf.
I think that's appropriate.
Yeah, and let's try to see if we can take care of him here. My heart is breaking, it seems.
Okay.
He does look very dirty.
Yeah.
we can catch up with the group, or is the group going to just kind of stand aside and wait for us?
Stand aside, I think.
Okay, we'll be right back. We're just going to go talk to this person in distress.
You can see the constabulary, like there are about 6 town guards are flanking the area. They're looking at the scene, but they're not doing anything. The local sailors and workers that are normally drinking and having a good time are not being especially sensitive to this particular plight. They scream things like, "Oh yeah, well, what's this Antler man's name?" They're kind of goading him on, and this guy's clearly in distress as he is really believing that the Antler man is coming, and he's freaked out about it, clearly. As you pull up to sort of get next to him, he points his knife at you and with crazed eyes looks right at you and says, "Can't you see? Antler man is coming!" His knife wavers in his hand as his knuckles go white holding onto the hilt.
Brother, we do see, and we need your help. Come with us.
Dan, or you can roll your persuasion for me.
Okay. So that is a -2 on this roll. Damn it. But let's see. Maybe it'll be a good roll.
Maybe it'd be an awesome roll. Yeah.
A 7.
As you say that, he looks at you and his eyes just turn into slits of hatred and says, You're one of them. You're one of them. And he then sort of backs up from you and he starts screaming in pain and he starts jabbing at his head with his knife.
Oh, geez. Jojo.
And there's
Jump in, Jojo.
Okay,
gouts of
jump
blood
in
are
and
spurting all over the place as he is
Stop
screaming in
him.
horror.
Andrew, what
My
the
God,
actual
what the hell
fuck?
happened to Andrew? If this is our fault that we let Andrew be on his own devices for several weeks.
Yeah, this is
what happens
You've
when
gone
we don't-
too far. Chaotic bad.
Chaotic
Chaotic bad.
Was I able
Oh.
to stop him in time? From
I'm going to have you roll a dexterity saving throw to see if you can lunge in.
and my dexterity, as we all know, is dexterity
Saving at the
0.
very top.
0. Whew, okay.
And don't forget, if you're wearing your protection rune bracelet once per day, you can have one extra +1 on your saving throw.
Oh, yeah.
Is that like a Fitbit?
It is kind of
yeah.
like a Fitbit.
It's like a
Yeah.
The
Fitbit,
Fitbit
yeah.
that was fashioned by the orphans.
Okay. Well, I don't think I have
that's who
one
did
of those,
it, eh?
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone has one except for
Everyone
Norman.
except for Norman.
Right.
Because he has a weird cape or something.
I believe Norman has not been wearing the sash of late.
And that is, sashes are either known as sashes or weird capes.
So did you use the bracelet for the bonus?
What does it do again?
It gives you
Gives you
plus
plus
one
one.
once a day.
+1 once a day. Oh my gosh. +1.
Ah!
+1 once a day?
Listen, those
Oh my
orphans worked
gosh.
extra hard to craft that, and you are insulting an
Oh,
orphan.
the
you want to
poor
think I'm
orphans.
dark?
Yeah,
Holy
you
cow.
know what? I can't turn that on. I'm going to use the +1 on that to turn my 15 into hold on, calculator.
Christine, this whole time just eating your free
Doesn't give up.
on her yacht.
I'm sorry, what did the math check out to, Jordan, at the end of that?
Oh boy.
Did you run it by the calculator? All right. You are able to lunge in and wrest the knife from his hand, but he has put in 2 impressive gashes into his head. And his eyes have rolled back into his head as he slumps into your arms.
Now, would this count as damage?
Andrew,
He's unconscious at this point.
can
But
I
is
cast? Sorry, go ahead, Jojo.
Is we couldn't help the other guy out because it wasn't damage. Is this damage?
This is actually damage, yeah.
Okay, so we can save his life using our magic.
Indeed, you could.
Could I, before we do that, just to find out what's going on here, could I cast detect magic on him?
Yes. You can always, yes, absolutely, you can cast Detect Magic.
Okay, I've cast Detect Magic on him.
Okay. There is no magic radiating from him at all.
Can I detect evil?
Yeah, absolutely. That is a class feature of yours. You are surrounded by evil on all sides.
Whoa.
A lot of people around you are... Well, hold on. I think that is things like, are they demons or celestials or things like that? So let me just... let me put it this way. You don't really need to use Detect Evil to assess that these people are not particularly
It's
nice
not a very
folk.
good place, yeah.
But specifically, your Detect Evil ability lets you detect like demons and angels and undead things within 30 feet of you. And you don't detect any of that.
Okay, so bad vibes, but nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
I think actually with a paladin at 60 feet, it's pretty great. But you don't detect like undead monsters or demons or abyssals or things like that.
Okay, well let's. What's the best way to heal this guy? Lay on hands or the other thing?
Lay on hands is a solid choice. That's like boom, instant healing.
Okay, let's do lay on hands then.
Okay.
How many hit points do I need to give him?
He had a grand total of 8 hit points. So if you want to fully heal him, that would be 8.
Let's fully heal him.
Okay. His wounds sort of soak up themselves and immediately close up. And his eyes blink open as you do that, and he looks at you.
Can I give him my fine clothes?
You'd like to give me your fine clothes? You are thinking about that when he immediately looks at you, and again, his eyes sort of get this real suspicious and fearful look, in fact, as he looks at you and he whispers, Grazit. And he tries to, he does say that name. And he...
Which name?
You were muted, Brooke, but we could read it on your lips.
What name did he say?
Grazit.
Grazit, our bad boy.
And he stumbles out of your grasp and runs as fast as he can away.
Like, get an opportunity?
You want to try and grapple him?
Yeah.
I think
absolutely.
Okay, all right.
Here, I got something better, Jojo. Let me cast...
Fireball?
No, let me cast Hold Person.
Oh my god.
I have it.
Okay, go for it.
I cast Hold Person.
Brooke believes we're not meant to.
No, I love it.
And you have to succeed on a Wisdom saving throw.
I do. You have a pretty high spell save DC
I
too.
do. It's 16.
He rolls and gets a 5, so he does not beat your spell save DC. He is held in place, and he looks like a statue, a crazed, fearful statue. His eyes dart around as you have held him in place.
Brother, he's all yours. I tried to talk to him. It's you need to settle this young man down.
Do we have any way? Well, look, all I can do is roll a persuasion to try and calm him down. I think we don't have any potions that are like chamomile tea, do we?
No, I don't believe you have any chamomile tea potions.
And I don't think breathing exercises are going to fix this guy.
Maybe in the long term they might do something, but...
There is some liquor in the vicinity.
No, to solve many problems.
Old-fashioned truth serum.
And just try to tell him that we're on his side. We are elvish like him. We want to help him. And we want to know more about the Antler Man and Grazit. So that's the general crux of the message I want to impart. And I roll persuasion on that.
Sure.
And I get a 4 plus 7, so that's an 11.
11. Okay, it's hard to make a dent through his mental haze right now. He is very much... Wherever he is mentally, he is not totally receptive to it. And he is very distrustful of you, is the takeaway from that.
Okay, Tergar, I think we should let him go.
He has soiled himself, by the way.
Oh my god. Gang, am I letting him go? Okay. He's I let the spell go.
Okay, he falls to the ground, his knife clatters, and he takes the opportunity to beat feet and get the heck out of Dodge.
Oh, this is heartbreaking.
So Grazit is the guy who stole the wyvern, or a different guy.
Different guy.
Grazit's the literal handsome devil who
The demon.
said he was trying to get all of us. Yeah, and I recognized him. We went and found that book, and the guy was really nice to you, but not nice to me, and we read about him in a book.
So
Demon.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Antler Man.
Antler Man is Grazit.
Yeah. I
You
think
do
I
know
have
Antler Man.
Antler Man starring Paul Rudd.
And
second, I think.
And-
And
is Grazit perhaps the demon that we've seen in our dreams?
Nimraelian would definitely connect those dots, yes.
Okay. And sorry, and what did he say? I was writing the notes, but what did he say about him again?
He's coming.
Grazit is coming. Okay.
Antler Man is coming.
Here's Antler Man.
He said,
Oh, wow, Brooke, that's amazing. It's also amazing how
Man
it's...
in the bar.
Stand there, show your cutout.
The dream happened. That was a while ago, wasn't it?
That was a while ago, indeed.
I am Tergar. Quake before me. The power of nature flows through my hands. Oh.
So, ladies and gentlemen watching at home, this is all this podcast, this show is going to be from now on, is stick figures.
Puppets.
Yeah, puppets. I think we got a real future in it. So Salwas has been looking at this, and he says, "Well, that was interesting.
Yeah.
Have you heard of the demon Grazit?
I've heard of demons, but I couldn't say them by name.
That's
Naming
fine.
a demon's unlucky, don't you know?
I didn't name him. I showed you a beautiful drawing.
Well, aren't you a talented little artist?
Oh, Captain, please.
He escorts you over to the merchant's estates, where he takes you to one of the larger mansions. And you, within a short order, you are clearly a cut above the usual types that wander the streets of Poniard. So it doesn't take much to convince them that you are, quote, a big deal. And it's not long before you are taken into his study. And he's a large, portly fellow, maybe in his 50s, vanilla-looking human. And he says, "Salwas, these are the ones? What's all this now about food and rations for your boat? Who am I talking to here? You, the gnome? No, I suppose you're not here, are you? Yes. Who's then? Who wants to speak for you? Who?
I'll talk.
Yes. What's your name then?
GT.
GT, that's an interesting name.
You can call me Glonda.
Ah, yes. All right.
We're looking for some rations to help us continue our journey.
Miss, well, they are available, and as I told Sawis, I could perhaps make an exception to the exorbitant rates that are being charged right now, but only if, well, it was in my interest for this to happen.
Don't play coy with me. What do you mean when you say that?
Well, what do you need them for? Where are you going? What are you doing? What brings you to Poniard? Answer my questions. Immediately.
Have you heard of a sailor named Jack Terrigali?
And he does a little poink. Served on the river with Raskatan.
Correct.
Yes, they've come through here once or twice. I haven't seen them in a while, mind you.
Not recently, eh?
Well, if Rardath would come by, he would always have some good sales for us. We did very well. We did good trade together.
You know he's dead.
I had not heard that.
Yeah.
It saddens me greatly.
Yeah, same. He
What's
left.
he to you, then?
Pardon?
What's he to you?
He was like a father to me.
I didn't know he had any children. Certainly
No,
wasn't
like-
a dwarf,
like
as
a-
far as I recall.
he
I
was
see.
like
Figurative
a-
then. I understand.
Yeah. We're different. I also worked on the Wyvern.
Ah, part of his crew then. Yes, interesting.
Correct.
I
In
hadn't
fact,
heard of dwarves being on boats before.
I'm an enigma.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. That's how you'll all remember my name when I'm famous. Not apparently, this is a fact. He left me the Wyvern in his will. But Jack stole it.
Did he? What a rogue. Ah!
This isn't a joke.
Right, yes, of course.
This is my
It is a
life.
little funny, though.
Yeah, it is. I get it. But no, we must be serious.
So you're off to get your boat back, are you?
As any fine sailor would. Please ignore the yacht behind me.
It is a lovely yacht, though.
Thank you
drink
so
champagne
much.
up in the forecastle there?
We sure do. I'm going to maybe do a little bit of a makeover when I get the Wyvern back.
Very nice, very nice. Well,
Thank you.
let's see. So what you're proposing is you'll get your ship back. Well, as it happens, I'm at a bit of a... I need some regular trade between various ports, and here it is often difficult to get the necessities of life. And I could see fit to giving you a deal on the rations you require, in exchange for, shall we say, a contract, a service contract that you would bring a regular route my way.
Could do.
What if we could do 2 routes in a season? That would be adequate for our needs. I could spell out the kind of supplies we'd need.
My only thing is, I don't have the boat yet. So I can't sign a contract until I get my boat.
Yes, it is a bit of a quandary, isn't it?
I can't make you a promise without knowing I can keep it yet.
Well, I appreciate your honor. And Salwest has sung your praises. Well, I'll tell you what. I believe in taking a chance, a bit of a gamble from time to time, and, well, you look like capable adventurers. I'm willing to take that chance on you. So yes, I will give you the deal that you need to get your food, and I can even maybe rustle up some stevedores to load it onto your ship. Maybe it could even be done by the end of the day tomorrow.
Thank you very much. We're very grateful. These rations will help us in the continuation of our journey to try and find the Wyvern and get her back.
Yes, well, I think we could do it for 250 gold pieces. That sounds like a bit of a deal compared to what the usual market rate is right now.
Let me just convene with the gals. Hey guys, ramble. What?
I'll front it. I'm down to 190 gold.
No, I can front it. I'm just
Well, no,
asking
who
if
cares?
it's
Because
good.
we can share. I'll just take it off mine. It's all.
Pay the man, Tergar.
Do we want so we know that it should only be 150. Do we want to try to see if we can one buddy that's bartering down to 200?
It should be 150, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he said that it's 1,000 now, but we'll give it for you 250, but it's already quite an inflated price. If we can get like 200, that would
be. To be fair, he did not say it was 1,000. Salwas went to a couple of people and they were telling him 1,000. This guy can do it for less, but he wanted to meet you.
Because of inflation?
It's all the food is being eaten up.
Used in the festival.
Yeah.
Do they
Supply
have
is down, demand is up, prices go up.
Exactly.
Raise
Sorry,
the
Jordan?
interest rates. To have their central bank governor raise the interest rates by 100 basis points and see, maybe we'll have.
Only they could find a digital currency.
A cryptocurrency would go a long way in this economy. It's true.
The great
Get back to our roots. Carving. Anyway.
So
if you want to haggle, Glenda.
Would you do it for 200 gold?
I would love a persuasion check from Glenda for that.
She can do that.
She can totally do that.
That's a 17.
17?
No, I lied. No, I didn't lie. No, I did lie.
I'm so confused.
It's a 20.
20? Holy cow.
Yeah.
Dirty
Sorry,
20.
perception and persuasion are next to each other. I'm going to start with the same 3 letters, and it's 5 or 8.
Well, he looks at you and says, well, this has been a day I will tell my grandchildren about. A dwarven sailor of such great renown who will doubtlessly be famous one day, captaining the Wyvern itself. Yes, I would gladly pay less to see. Yeah, nice. I would gladly offer you this deal. So yes, he'll do it for 200.
Yay!
And
Ding, ding, ding,
Tergar
ding,
pays
ding,
the
ding,
200 gold.
Pay the man.
I gladly pay the 200 gold to you, good sir.
Says,
Thank you.
He says,
Ooh.
excellent, excellent indeed. And he waves to an aide to come over and take it. He says, well, I was going to be seeing a show tonight at the theater, and I would be honored if you would be my guests. It's a marvelous new production.
Is it by Circus of the Sun?
No, I don't know who that is.
Okay. It's a very,
Just
where
some-
we're from, a pretty big circus thing.
Just some players from Port Com who have come in especially for the festival.
So do you pay all of your staff a living wage?
I believe that they live, yes.
That's not what I asked.
Oh, I see. A living wage. They earn wages.
Do they have a savings account?
You would have to ask them what that is.
Are they indentured to you?
RFP.
Oh, do we have indentured workers? Yes, of course, on the plantations, but it's all above board.
Well, I think we should accept.
I want to go to the show.
Go to the show.
Yes, let's go to the show.
I think
invited
Nimrillion
us
is considering firing-balling this guy.
the
Before
least
Oh,
we can
she
do
hates
is
the
say-
whole
everybody.
down.
All right.
So I'll have to tell you, last time we went to a show, it didn't end well, and it started our journey and why we're here.
Was the show any good?
Yes, Mrs. Lincoln, but did you enjoy the show?
Exactly.
Well, let me round out tonight's episode with a description of the play that you are taking to see.
Okay.
It's called An American Family.
It's called Hamilton. I don't know if you've heard of it.
I saw it yesterday.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
No, it doesn't actually have a name. That is to say, I didn't get around to giving it a name, so it probably has a very catchy name that you can decide what it is after you have heard it.
Guys and dolls.
In the play, it features
Neon Baby Dreams.
That is totally what it's not called. The play features 4 protagonists: a merchant's agent, a sailor, a farmer, and a miner. And in the first act, they have met in the marketplace to sing songs about their troubles. There are a lot of awfully racist songs about Amadeo's slaves and Keolanders, that land that you have been in before.
Andrew, not only do we witness that they're trying to literally do human trafficking and they have slaves, that now they're doing a play about how fun that is.
Listen, they are.
Are we not
playing
just
to the-
destroy? Are we not powerful enough that we can just destroy the whole place?
You could burn it to the
Is this
ground.
not the
like
right
that.
island for us? Should we go to a different port?
I think we should go to a different island. I think we should scrap
feel
this
like-
whole trip.
I feel like this is
Put
you
our
go to
gold
Niagara
elsewhere.
Falls and you accidentally go to the American side.
God,
That's
I feel
exactly
like
it.
this is what this is like.
You said
Listen.
this was going to be Christmas, not weird hell.
We're in Utica, New York right now.
Just play with it for now. These are actors that are obviously playing to their audience. They know who.
Well, I
pays
hate them.
They are definitely. Listen, they are eating with a living wage, probably. So they also make a lot of fun at Keoland, the land that you have been living in, with where Saltmarsh is. And at the end of Act 1, war is declared between Keoland and the Hold of the Sea Princes, the place you are in now. To the cheers of the protagonists, who all immediately enlist. So then there's a big puppet show, and it's, from Glange's perspective, awfully well done. But it has a lot of ships that are shooting things at each other and battles with puppets and such. And then there are some land victories that happen. But at the end of the act, the tides have turned, and the Keolanders, those evil buggers, get the upper hand. And our protagonists are marooned on a desert island, and they lament about their lot. But a sail is sighted in the distance, and a ship enters the set. Literally, a giant ship is sort of marched onto. I mean, it's kind of crumbly done, but at the time, it's a pretty big
Nim
deal.
boos.
Yeah. You're the only one booing unless the rest of you want to.
No, she
burn
just
as well.
boos.
Okay. You are almost overwhelmed by the cheers, just to let you know.
That's fine.
So the ship enters, and he is. It's piloted by a man in a hooded red cloak. The protagonists are saved. Yay! The man in the red cloak tells him that the fortunes of the war have turned as well with the arrival of the mysterious Dreadlord, who has marshaled forces that have routed the Keolanders all the way back to the capital, Neola Dra. Saltmarsh and Gradsol have both been taken. Cheers from the audience.
Boo!
Again, overwhelmed by the cheers. And the 4 protagonists board the boat and return in triumph. In the final act, Act 3, celebration is in full swing, with some obvious callbacks to these horrible songs from the first act. You get the sense that maybe the actors figure their audience doesn't care, maybe they're too drunk, and they can just sort of recycle their earlier material. The text allows that the Dreadlord will be arriving soon. Cue a very dramatic song to administer justice to the treacherous Keolander generals. And the Dreadlord arrives, a dark figure in full plate armor, standing in elevator boots, making him very tall, wielding a wicked two-handed sword.
This is like Hereditary.
In the finale of the play, all those present kneel to him. He beheads the 4 of the generals.
Hooray!
Which is an interesting. Yeah, they all eat it up. There are some comments like, should have fed him to the sharks, feed him to the sharks. He declares the beginning of a new golden age of prosperity for the people of the Holds. By the way, the Dreadlord is wearing a very magnificent helmet. So you can
Totally terrible.
And there's a final song of praise, and the Dreadlord showers the audience with coins. Barrels of beer are tapped, and a party begins in the theater itself, and quickly devolving into hedonistic chaos. Prostitutes enter into the theater and are immediately sort of making friends with a lot of the populace. You are in receipt of a lot of offers. Should you wish to carry up on any of them, you just let me know. And I would now like you to all make a wisdom saving throw for me.
Again?
Yep.
But what about the other one we made? That was so great.
That was a whole day ago.
Oh, man. Oh, shit. Oh, well, it's 11.
18.
18.
Oh, wait, a wisdom saving throw. Oh, sorry, that's a...
8.
What did I rolled a 3, so an 8 for me as well.
An 8. So I see that Brooke rolled super low.
I said 8 in total.
Oh, 8 in total. Okay. And
I'm the same.
okay. So you both feel strongly interested in participating in this act of debauchery.
Okay. I find a female prostitute, start making out with her.
Sweet. And we'll fade to black. I don't know what Norman and Jorjondron and Galanda want to do, but Tergar and Nimraelian feel very compelled to participate. They don't.
We gotta get the hell out of here. Is what we gotta do.
Yeah, this is like totally. We've fallen into an evil den.
Yes, they all hated that other island, and here we are, where it is the epitome of the darkest timeline.
Holy shit.
Hashtag sex work is work. So I'm going to stay here and support the economy.
Now you're saying that, Dan, but what is Tergar actually doing as a result of this heavily interesting idea of participating in the debauchery?
That goes so against his character. So against his character. Could Tergar be leaning more towards like just heavily drinking?
Absolutely.
There you go.
Yeah, and I think Nim, rather than just like going straight for the lips, because that's not really. She'll probably be like the he to the extreme.
Yeah.
Okay. Just to round this out, the food and beverage is of exceptional quality. So whether you enjoy it or not, it is there and very enjoyable. And we'll fade to black on this hedonistic scene of chaos with Jorjondron and Galanda looking on with confusion, maybe even horror. And Gnorman, just happy to support the local economy. So that is where we will leave it for tonight.
Wow.
Andrew.
Cool. Till next time, whenever that is.
Next week, right?
Maybe we'll be in touch with y'all folks. I'm sure y'all hear soon enough whether or not it's going to happen or not. Bye.
Hi, everybody.
Y'all folks. I'm sure y'all